Welcome back to the channel. So, today is story time at Keyfarm, Bridge Edition. So, let's see, we've had the bridge, 2011, we've had the bridge about 8 years. And before we had the bridge, it could be kind of a hassle trying to cross the creek right here. I'd get the three-wheeler, four-wheeler stuck, and there's a bridge up by the road, and you know, we were doing something at the back. From the road to the back is quite a distance. So, having this bridge halfway has been really handy. But today, I'm going to tell you how I acquired the bridge, or how I acquired pieces to the bridge and then built the bridge. So, the bridge came out of bad weather, and we have an impending threat of bad weather today. I'm going to put a picture of the radar up right here. It's not here yet, but it's coming this way. They're talking about bad wind and possible tornadoes, and this bridge came out of a tornado. So, about 8 years ago, I think it was a Thursday or a Friday, and I was home from work, and this really bad storm cell came through. It wasn't very big, and it pretty much just covered our neighborhood and kind of made a track. And I mean, I was standing looking out the front window. You know, I don't think you're supposed to be close to windows, but let's face it, every redneck stands at the front door and looks out the door when it's hailing. And it was hailing on the front porch. So, you know, after that storm went through, everything was fine. So the sun came out, and I hopped in the truck. I was going to ride over here to the farm to make sure everything was still intact, because there for a very short time it got really rough at the house. So I went down the road and I made the turn. About a mile down the road, I came by my former brother-in-law's house, and I seen a few cedar trees up close to the road that had some limbs broke off, and that's not totally out of the ordinary. They catch a lot of wind anyway. But I looked back way off the road at his house trailer, and it didn't look right. But now I'm not right up on it. It's way off the road. But I went ahead and turned down the driveway because something, you know, from far away it didn't look right. So I go down there, and the house trailer is rolled upside down. I'm talking about the axles are on the roof. But none of his vehicles were there, so I wasn't immediately worried. So I called him, and sure enough, he was in the next town up the road. I told him the bad news. Hey man, your house is not right side up. I don't know if you've ever had to tell anybody that their house is not right side up. I found there's no good way to do it. So my house is what? That storm that came through? Yeah, it rolled the house trailer. So anyway, he gets out there almost, you know, immediately. So we spent the next 3 or 4 days just cleaning up very large pine trees that came down in the same storm. And matter of fact, the older boards on this bridge are those pine trees. I cut them to 5-foot lengths, had the man down the road with a sawmill saw them 2 inches, and bolted them to the steel once I got the frame ready. So anyway, to speed this story up, I bought the house trailer frame from my brother-in-law. Of course, it was much longer. It was 70 plus feet long. I cut it down to 34 feet. Everything I cut off the length, I put in between and made kind of like a ladder frame. And then I bought a bunch of 1/4-inch bolts. Tractor Supply, you buy them by the pound. I found it's best that way. And I bolted all of these top boards on here. And before I started repairing all the old boards, you can see on the back part, it's got a 4x4 runner, where when you're coming across on a 4-wheeler, if you would happen to touch the edge, you're not likely to go off. I mean, you still got to pay attention. It's a bridge. So, I did that. I built the ladder frame out of it. I brought it over here on a 20-foot trailer, and I got an old Ford wrecker sitting up front. I set it across the creek with the old Ford wrecker, and it's been here ever since. We've weight tested it up to at least 2 4-wheelers. I'm gonna put a picture right there. And I know there's kids. I tested it with grown folks on 4-wheelers before I had the kids on the bridge. I'm not an idiot. Well, okay, I wasn't an idiot that time. I did test it with grown folks. So, like I said, it's been real handy ever since. I use it almost every day now. When I go hunting on the other side, I don't have to drive across and disturb anything. I can park on one side and walk across the bridge. And you do see a sawhorse there. at some point, a large animal crossed the bridge. Because a couple years ago, not long after we got the Appaloosa, I came over here one day and there were boards broke that weren't even bad boards. Now this is for human traffic and four-wheelers. You know, four-wheelers spread their weight out on 4 tires pretty evenly, and the beams that go across are designed to be right under the four-wheeler tires. Well, I had boards broke all through this thing, and there were skint marks all over the wood, like hooves had been on them going every which direction. And we think it had to be the Appaloosa because she's the one that I have seen take a step or two up onto the bridge. So I used to keep a sawhorse on each end, and now I just keep one in the middle, and that seems to deter them enough. You may see me looking out of the corner of my eye. This is at least the 2nd or 3rd time I've shot this video, because earlier ones I shot there was too much wind, and then I had animals creeping up on my camera about to knock it off in the creek, and I had to jump up. So today's story time at Keyfarm. Hang on. Do not come over here. Do not come over here. Alright, so I got the tripod set up on the bank of the creek, down kind of, hopefully out of the wind. And my little friend here, don't walk on the bridge either. She was getting close to my camera, and camera in the creek would not be good. So anyway, if you see me keeping an eye on this goat that's just barely off screen that y'all can't see, come here, goat. Hey. Goats are not like dogs. I wish everything was like a dog. You just whistle and it would come to you. But squirrel. So sorry about that. So anyway, we got this impending threat of weather today, and that reminded me of how I acquired the bridge. Oh, by the way, my former brother-in-law, he's fine. He's back on his feet. He's successful. Don't worry about him. It took more than one tornado to keep him down. So, since we got bad weather, if you're watching this on Saturday, go ahead and say a prayer for us. And I wish you love God and love people, and keep watching Keyfarm.